Hi, everybody. So nice to be here with you again this month in January. So, what I want to talk to you about this month is manifestation for a minute, because I've been discovering lately that this really interesting response that we all tend to do. So, let's preface it by saying no judgment first. Let's be kind to our nervous systems, kind to ourselves. Let's just observe, go into observer mode. And what I really discovered is that we've learned this autopilot response until we learn not to. And sometimes we never learn not to. And that's why I want to have the conversation. Until we're willing to receive everything and not just what we call good, we tend to mix our story up about how things come into our lives, about the actual process of manifestation, how our brain works, how projection works, attraction works, and energy works are all really big conversations. But from a hypnotherapy standpoint, as a clinical hypnotherapist, we really want to streamline this down into why do we not get some of the things we're really working hard for? Why does that happen? Because what's easy to do and the autopilot response is we sort of collapse into this random reasoning. I don't know. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe the universe is punishing me. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe I've done it wrong. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe that's just how that works out. That's typical. Things don't work out for me. And then we build momentum going in the direction we don't want to be going in. Now we've picked up that old programming, those old lies about ourselves, those old limiting beliefs. And now that momentum is really dominant. And so we keep projecting from it and attracting back to it. And we keep getting the same thing over and over and over again. But we're not really understanding the why. So if we could put judgment down for a minute and start to just observe the why, we might start to catch our patterns. And I thought that was a worthy conversation to have. So, because as humans, we've all experienced some emotional pain, right? You've heard me say this before. Every single one of us, there's a part of our brain that doesn't develop until we're 7 years old. And at that point, it just begins its developmental stages. We call it the critical factor in clinical hypnotherapy. It's that that chatterbox, that voice inside your head that says, don't do that. That's not safe. Can we trust people? I'm not sure. Guys aren't nice. Women are tricky. Let's be careful. Just let's avoid that at all costs. I'm not sure about money. The economy is too dangerous. We constantly have that voice looping in our head. That voice was born around 7 and matured up until 11, 12, 13, and that became our adult rational mind. That function, it takes in all of what we're perceiving in the world outside of us on that screen of space, that movie called life, and then it associates it against what's in our subconscious mind. Now, before the age of 7, when it's sort of born, if you will, we've had life experience. Maybe our parents aren't perfect. Maybe our parents are too perfect and they expect us to be perfect. Maybe we had guardians. Maybe we were in foster care. Maybe we had the perfect childhood, but we went to school and kids weren't so nice. Maybe we learned in school that if I don't get the best mark, then I don't get the accolades. I don't get the love. I don't get the good job, little you. So I've learned I have to compete. I've learned I'm not really in a community, I'm against a community. This is all experiences we have until we start to figure out that we're a we. That voice starts to create that adult rational mind, which then gives us the ability to separate ourselves from the circumstance, which is where our negotiation skills start to come in. I don't think I want that. Thank you. That might be good for you. I'm not sure that feels right for me. I'm going to politely decline. We can't do that before we actually mature that capability. So before that capability, everything's personal. It's not there's a set of circumstances. This person might be in a bad mood. This person might be having a bad day. I'm not sure why they're upset with me. We can't do that. We can't separate it out. We say, it's me. Something's wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not perfect enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not masculine enough. I'm not man enough. And on it goes. And we carry that for the rest of our lives. And we compound on it. So now we're moving through life quite unconsciously, making sure that we never get near that pain again. Now our subconscious mind has held on to this experience. It's dominant in our brain. We're always watching for that. Don't get near that pain. So we're going to sabotage. We're going to sabotage jobs. We're going to sabotage relationships. We're going to isolate ourselves. We're going to stay away from people. We're not going to go out past 7 o'clock at night. Whatever the coping mechanism strategies are that come in to protect us, they are there because we don't want to experience pain. So if we could just back up and observe this for a minute and really look, what's my trigger? What am I telling myself every time I don't get what I want or something goes wrong? And it's in this one area of my life, because I could be fantastic at making money, but I'm not great at relationships and communication. All right, that's where we need to turn the lens and observe and look. Why? Well, because, and it'll pop right out, because people always do this, because this always happened to me. We have a story where we're a little bit of the victim in it. And let's not say victim like the word is judgment and somebody else is the villain. Let's just say it like, this is where I got hurt. And I never really dealt with that pain. And so my subconscious mind is doing a brilliant job doing what it's supposed to do. Its function is to keep you alive, right? You're not thinking about breathing at night. You're not telling your heart to beat. It's running all the processes of your body. There is an innate intelligence running within you that built you. And it wants to protect you. It wants to keep you alive. That's its job. That's its function. And its primary is to move you towards pleasure and away from pain. We don't want to experience pain. So now we've got this conflict because we've got this younger part of us that got hurt. And we're trying to avoid that at all costs. But now we've got this adult part of us with our rational adult mind saying, well, I would really like to be in a relationship that functions well. I really would like to be earning more money. What am I telling myself about why I can't have this? I'm doing all the work. I'm reading all the books. I'm staying away from all the tigers in the world that feel like they make my nervous system go into fight or flight. I'm working really hard for this. And I get little drips here and there and things that, that are nice show up. But the main thing is never showing up. Why not? Because we've got a conflict. That inner conflict is your subconscious mind says we can't go anywhere near that because that might hurt. So we have to find a way to become willing in our manifestation process to accept it all. To know that we can handle it. To know that we'll be all right. To know that life is duality. That there'll be some really extraordinary experiences and celebrations and happiness. But with that will come growth and challenges and lessons. We tend to get mixed up because we only want the good. Have you ever noticed that? And that's logical. No one walks out of their house and says, all right, give me the worst day you got, universe. I can take it. Nobody says that. We don't want that. But what we tend to do is we only want the good. And at the first sign of trouble, at the first sign of our happiness going off the rails and anything challenging coming in, our coping mechanism kicks in. We either shut down completely and back away. I've got to get myself out of here into safety. My nervous system is kicked in because I have perceived something close to that which caused me pain in the past, and now I'm in a visceral body response. Mind goes blank. We're no longer making decisions well. At this point, blood is running to the heart and the big muscles. We got to get out of here. And so we respond to it like a threat. What if we could train ourselves? Train our minds, teach our subconscious mind that pain was from a memory. I'm okay now. Look at all the skills I have now. Look at all the lessons I've learned. Look who I've become. Look at all the things I'm proud of about me. We don't do that. We weren't taught to do that. So our brains over and over and over again are constantly scanning for what we don't want to have happen and avoiding it. That's what we do. We live unconsciously like that all day. But the mechanism is so powerful. We can revert that. We can learn to focus on all the things that we want to experience by flooding the subconscious mind with everything that you've already accomplished. And I know there's millions of things we each have. They don't have to be life-changing. I was the one that invented and understood penicillin. No, I was good today. I was kind today. I was nice to strangers. I'm a good person. I'm pretty empathetic. I'm a good listener. I do my best to be a good person every day. That is worth celebrating. I know that everybody on my client list and everybody in this audience and the readership is a good person. You wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't be here. Do you celebrate that enough? Because when we do that, we start to get into the realm and the frequency of the things that we want. But we have to be willing. We have to be willing to say that life is going to throw us some curves and they have value. I'm going to learn from that. I can be an observer. I can admit that I need to grow in areas, and things happen to show me where that growth is. I have to be willing to say I have an adult brain now and I can handle some pain. And I don't have to protect myself from everything, because if I try to do that, I'm going to create so much isolation around me in my life that I won't like my life. So I still don't get what I want, even if I avoid pain. If we can actually have that conversation with ourselves and come to the conclusion that pain has value too, but we were never meant to stay in it. We were never meant to suffer. We were never meant to just constantly be monitoring for it. And we weren't taught that very well, right? If we were 10 years old and we wanted to stay up until midnight, we wouldn't be able to be alert and function and get up early and go to school the next day. We weren't responsible enough to make good choices. So we had guardians that would help us. And then we became adults and we learned, okay, if I stay up until midnight or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning and I have to get up at 6 o'clock tomorrow to go to work, this isn't going to be good. And so we learn to become responsible. We take responsibility for our choices. But the mechanism, when it's trying to protect us, that shuts off. We don't really take responsibility because we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to avoid pain. So we get those two things cross-wired in our thinking. And so we look for people to blame. If you would just change, this would be better. If you would just not be here, this would be better. If you would just be happy, then I would have a nicer, easier day. If everyone at work would just be happy and hold happy thoughts, then the empath in me would be having a lovely, crystal clear day because everyone is happy. That's not possible. We have to learn to govern ourselves. And when we can live in duality and we can say, I can handle it. I can handle it. I want all the good stuff, but I can handle the other stuff that comes with it. I can't just jump from 10 to 30. When we're 10, we're like, I can't wait to be older, especially girls. I can't wait to wear makeup. I can't wait to get my ears pierced. I can't wait to grow up. And then we grow up and we're like, I need to be in bed by 9. I'm really tired. I wish someone would tell me to go to bed. Isn't that the joke, the memes we see on the internet all the time? But we want all the things. But if we jumped from 10 to 30 and all of a sudden had the things, they've made movies about this where all of a sudden they switch bodies. And you don't know how to handle it. I haven't had all the growth that came with that and the experiences that came with that. That's kind of what we're saying when we say, give me the good stuff. What we want is give me the good stuff and nothing else. And don't make me responsible for anything bad. And don't ever let me experience any pain. And then really I don't have to do anything after this. I can just sort of slide. But life doesn't work like that. You're not here for that. Your experience of life is extraordinary if you can change how you look at it, day by day by day by day by day. Our success, our happiness is a long game. I read something so inspiring the other day and I posted it. Actually, it was towards the end of last year, end of 2023, and I posted it on my social media account, on my Instagram account. Did you know that 80% of the Forbes 100 most powerful women in 2023 list are over 50? Our success, our happiness is a long game. It's not get the one thing and we're done. Right? It's lived in those moments every single day. So we have to really look at, how can I handle and be okay with more responsibility? Where can I say that I need to grow without it feeling bad and painful, without it feeling like self-judgment, without it feeling like something's wrong with me? And start there. Start with that conversation. If I can help you in any way with that as a clinical hypnotherapist, I would be happy and honored to do so. Have a wonderful rest of your month. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for inviting me into your homes, and I will see you next month. Bye for now.